Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, this middle section being what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, we'll be using a different tarot deck for each side of the connection, but I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy and clarify that, which we'll talk about in just a second. These energies can absolutely be swapped, so if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you're a cross watcher, then vice versa, do know that that is totally fine and totally normal. These are general readings. They will not resonate fully for everyone. The point of these readings is for you to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. I tried to keep that under a minute. We didn't quite get there. All right, Sagittarius, on your side of this connection, you have spiritual cleansing with the Nine of Swords in reverse. This connection brought it all up for you. I feel like every fear, doubt, insecurity, everything that you fear about loving connections and that you fear about how someone will or will not treat you was brought up in this connection. Now, it happened so you could work through these fears, these insecurities, doubts, and fears, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't freaking painful, and still probably is, because on this side of the connection, this is kind of interesting because this person, they have veiled with the Three of Swords. So this feels like they're kind of going through it when it comes to this connection too, but they're not saying anything to you. Like, they're holding that back with this veiled card here. And so that's leaving you to look through this connection through the lens of your fear and insecurity and see things as that like worst case scenario, like, oh, they never cared about me, or I never mattered, or I'm so worthless, or whatever those limiting beliefs are that are kind of ticking around in your head. So it's interesting because it's almost like if you knew more about how this person felt, I feel like you wouldn't feel as much as you do. But I also feel at the same time this is happening for a reason, because in between this connection you have protection with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is an energy of kind of like a karmic cycle. And this protection card here, it really does feel like the universe is protecting you from potentially repeating this cycle, because I don't feel it's almost like you would repeat this cycle if you didn't work through these fears, doubts, and insecurities. Because remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions come from our subconscious. Only 5%, I say this in every reading, only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. So you have certain limiting beliefs that live in your subconscious that you might not even be fully aware of, whether that be I'm not deserving of love, or I have to overgive in order to receive the bare minimum, or the love that I ultimately desire isn't actually possible, or whatever the case is. And those limiting beliefs have been very much brought to the surface in this connection. So let's start, Sagittarius, by looking at your side of this. This is for Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. The Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with, please. This is for Sagittarius' side of the connection. Sagittarius' side of the connection. This is for Sagittarius' side of the connection, please. Ooh, this seems specific. Page of Cups in reverse. Ten of Wands in reverse. Six of Swords, World in reverse. Okay. So this is about a cycle. And it's a cycle of you not receiving. Because I feel like you've been in an energy where you have taken on, because this Page of Cups in reverse, this feels like it's kind of alluding to this person, because it's emotional immaturity, could be emotional unavailability, just a closed off heart in general. I feel like you have been bearing the burden, with the Ten of Wands in reverse kind of being like the need to put down the burdens of others. You've been bearing the burden of this person's emotional stuff. And what I mean by that is like, if they've been emotionally unavailable, but you've been trying to give them, love so that they see that they are deserving of love, or that they are lovable, or that, whatever the case may be. That feels like what's been happening. And so it's like, I feel like you're giving all this love to this person, or we're giving all this love to this person. If I talk in like present or past tense, take as it resonates, to this person, and then they gave you like very little back, which then would hit some sort of an insecurity, like I'm not lovable, I'm not deserving of love, something like that. And it made it difficult for you to stop investing, because every time you would invest, you were hoping that you'd have an insecurity that would be alleviated. And I feel like that's been the biggest challenge for you, is not taking on this person's emotional, like not taking their emotional unavailability personally. That's ultimately what I mean. And it's hard to do, especially when you love someone who is kind of incapable of giving that back to you, right? This person's energy, or Sagittarius's energy towards this person. Sagittarius's energy towards this person, please. What was that? Four of Wands in reverse. Temperance, Devil in reverse. I feel like you were very patient with this person until you weren't. Like, I feel like you tried to help them see. It's like you tried to love them into loving themselves, or love them into loving you. And just like this person is dealing with now, because they're hiding that they feel this Three of Swords in this connection, right? They feel pain in association with this connection, but they're not saying anything about it. So if they're holding that back, then I can only imagine what else that they've held back. Like if they've held back how they really feel, or what they really want, or something like that. And so I feel like it's made you, it's confused you for the most part, because I feel like you, especially if you consider yourself an empath or someone who can read energy, like you can pick up on certain things, but then this person isn't saying or doing, what aligns with what you're feeling or picking up from them. And so basically what I'm getting at is, it feels like you've been very patient with them, and you've been trying to help them through these emotional struggles. Like, I feel like it's emotional unavailability. That's what it feels like it's coming down to, is this person is emotionally unavailable, which means that they are not able to open up and receive love, and therefore give love. And that patience that you had, it started to chip away at you, because the more patient you were being with them, the more was being taken away from you. Because you were being patient, you were consistently giving love, showing up for them, standing up for, the connection with them on times where they wanted to run. And then it just feels like the flip side never happened. Like, this person never gave you back what it was that you gave. And so you were constantly in a place of lack, and eventually started pouring from an empty cup. This person, or Sagittarius' energy towards this person. Sagittarius' energy toward this person, please. Sagittarius' energy. You really wanted things to work out here, but it feels like you couldn't quite, like, there was probably like one or two issues maybe that arose between you and this person that you were never quite able to work through with the Five of Wands in reverse. Now, at the same time, I also feel like what this message is talking about is resistance to your abundance, which is what this Five of Wands in reverse is saying. I want to get a little bit more on this really quick. Clarifying this Five of Wands in reverse. Seven of Swords. Okay. Hermit in reverse. Okay. So this connection gave you a very negative outlook when it comes to relationships of this sort or love in general. I feel like because of the way that things kind of played out, it made you very cynical almost. And maybe that's not really who you are. But this connection kind of, and it did that because it brought all of those fears, doubts, and insecurities to the surface. And I feel like what you're missing here is it's not that this connection was not supposed to be a confirmation that your fears, doubts, and insecurities are true. This was supposed to be a reflection of them so that you worked through them, so that you addressed them. Because I feel as if they were not being addressed before. So the feelings of being unlovable, the feelings of not being deserving, the feelings of thinking that you have to sacrifice yourself and your own emotional needs and desires for someone else to love you back, like bare minimum, whatever that case is for you. And this connection and what the point that you're missing, which is obviously really easy to do because you're a human being having a very real human experience, is that this connection wasn't actually supposed to be like, this connection isn't what isn't the cap on what you deserve. Like, it wasn't supposed to be, how can I say that in a different way? Sorry, give me a second. Because it's like you want this connection. You wanted this, want or wanted. But that was more because, going back to that 95% of you, your fears, doubts, and insecurities were making the decisions for you. So, for instance, when we are dealing with someone who's emotionally unavailable, usually our belief system is that we are unlovable or undeserving of love. And our belief system and our brain likes to be right. So it goes out and it seeks situations subconsciously that we might not be fully aware of that this is happening, that align with that belief of I'm unlovable or not deserving of love. And so typically that means that you'll search out people who are emotionally unavailable, because then on a subconscious level, when that person isn't able to give you the love that you deserve, not because it has anything to do with your worth, but because of their capability to love, your belief system in your brain can go, see, I told you so. This person doesn't love me, therefore I am unlovable, right? Which isn't the case. But that's what I'm trying to get, like, I'm trying to think of a better way to word that. It's like your belief system and your fears, doubts, and insecurities that live in that are being reflected at you by this person's movement, choices, and decisions, by this person's actions or inactions. And it's not because it's trying to validate the fact that you were right, like you are undeserving of love. It's because it's trying to point you to realize that you are deserving of more than what this connection has provided you. It's not that this is like the cap of what you deserve, or like this is as good as it gets. This is the universe really trying to show you that you deserve so much more than this. Sagittarius' side of this connection. I hope that made sense. Sagittarius' side of this connection. Ooh, okay. There's that Nine of Swords, except for it's upright, not reverse. There you are as the Queen of Wands, whether you're male or female, just being a fire sign. This Three of Swords in reverse. Let me see. Oh, no, I get what it's saying. As you heal from this, as you work through the pain of this connection, which I feel like it's been very challenging, little do you know, or maybe you do know, but you're working through this pain on a conscious level. But then on a subconscious level, you are working through your fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs when it comes to love. So this connection, and the reason it's been so painful, and the reason that you felt so like connected and attached to this person, is because they have a deeper purpose in your life. And this person's deeper purpose in your life is to help you release yourself from all of the things, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, the limiting beliefs that have kept you in repeating the karmic cycle of choosing people that do not love you the way that you deserve. That is this person's purpose in your life. This person's purpose in your life was not to be the long-term love of your life. Now, whether or not you believe that they're a twin flame or a karmic or a soulmate or whatever label you decide to put on it, which I think we have a tendency these days to get really obsessed with labels of things. Looking at the deeper purpose and saying, the way that you felt in this connection, the way that you felt small, the way that you felt invalidated, the way that you felt unloved, those qualities right there are not qualities that you feel when you are in a healthy connection. And I feel like there is a really big need to try to reframe the way that you think about why this person came into your life. Because I feel like there is more of a belief that it's like if they don't love you, no one will, or if they don't love you, you're never going to be loved or happy with anybody else. And that will be very true if you continue to allow yourself to believe that. But if you can break out of that belief and say, this person's deeper purpose in my life is to help me heal and help me release myself from the reasons that I choose people subconsciously that do not love me or give me what I deserve. Because that will help you tremendously moving forward when you start to choose the people that are supposed to be in your life. Sagittarius' side of this connection. There is a need for acceptance here, Sagittarius. There's a little bit of trying to control this connection, trying to force it to be something that it's not. And I get that. Like, I've been there. I talked a lot in the last love reading that I did for Sagittarius about my personal journey when I felt like I was dealing with twin flame. And I spent a couple of years trying to control that connection and trying to force it to be something that it wasn't. And that whole time, while I was waiting for this one specific person to decide to wake up, heal themselves so that they could finally love me the way that I deserved, I was missing out on actually being loved the way that I deserved. Because on some level, I believed that it was my responsibility to help this person heal so that I could be loved. And that level of things being within my control was because I didn't believe that the universe would provide me with someone that would love me the way I deserved. So I felt like it needed to be within my control to do so. I needed to help this person heal, or I needed to heal, and I needed to be a certain level of healed in order to receive love. And that belief kept me trapped in not receiving what I deserved for so long. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. And it's a very common belief, right? We have this in like every aspect of our life. If we don't have control over it, it's not going to happen, right? And that's kind of where there's a little bit of this, the lack of faith that starts coming through and the lack of belief in the universe and things of that nature. And so when I met my current partner, who is hands down the love of my life, it's now laughable to think about the person that I thought was my twin flame was ever going to love me the way that my current partner is capable of loving me. And the only reason I found him was because I completely let go of control. And I said, I don't know what's supposed to happen, but I know that I need to detach, because the more attached I was to that past connection, the more painful things were for me. So I knew I needed to detach. And I knew that I needed to get to a point where I was comfortable saying, I am okay if this person is never in my life again. And that, yes, that goes hand in hand with detachment, but seriously getting that point of indifference. And I was able to get there, thank God. And it took a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, a lot of diving deep into the reasons I was attached to this connection. But after I did that, I met my current partner, and things are now in my life so much better than I ever thought that they could have been. And that's where we have a tendency to get in our own way, is because we think, oh, it has to be this way. It has to be this person. It has to be, this outcome, or else I'm not going to be happy. And in reality, that keeps us from the outcome that is ultimately meant for us. It's going to make us the happiest. And the crazy thing is, I thought at that time when I was healing to try to bring this person back and hoping that this person had an awakening and all of this, I was actually affirming that I was not deserving of love the whole time, because what I was saying is someone else has to step up the plate in order for me to feel loved. But when I finally was able to detach, I loved myself more than I ever did when I was involved with that connection. And that is when my current partner came into my life, because he now reflects that love back at me. So I know that I kind of went down a rabbit hole there. I hope that it's making sense what I'm trying to say, because this is all about letting go of control. But I feel like sometimes you don't even realize that you're controlling, because you feel so strongly about something and you think, no, this is the way it has to be. I've seen all these signs and all these tarot readings that have pointed me in this direction. And trust me, I get it. I was stuck on that for a really long time. Oh my gosh, what the heck is in my eye? But that whole time when I was obsessing, not that you are, but when I was obsessing over this person that didn't know how to love me, I was missing out on the person that really could love me. All right, Sagittarius' side of this connection. There's something in my eye and it is driving me crazy. Sagittarius' side of this connection, please. Because remember, you're being protected from repeating a karmic cycle with this person. You gotta surrender, Sagittarius. You gotta let go of the wheel. Okay, I might have to pause this video and come back. Okay, there we go. I got it. No, I didn't. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. The Hangman with the Two of Pentacles. You've gotta surrender. You've got to let go. You're holding on so tightly to this person because I feel like, and that's the thing, right? When you deal with these really intense connections where you feel so drawn to them and so like, if this doesn't work out, like I'm not going to be happy or I'm not going to be loved or whatever the case is, the reason for that is because they are the reflection of every single time that you've ever felt unlovable. This person probably mirrors back to you the abandonment you felt as a child, or the betrayal you felt as a child, or the invalidation you felt as a child, whatever the case is for you, right? This is a general reading, so I can't get too specific, but this person is a reflection of all of the ways that you ever felt unlovable. Therefore, of course, you're wanting this person to love you, because if they can love you, then all of those reasons that you believe that you are unlovable will somehow be alleviated. That's the belief, right? And I've been there. I promise I've been there. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius, clarifying veiled with the Three of Swords. All right. Let's see what they are dealing with, Sagittarius. This is this person's energy towards Sagittarius. I still feel that. I think there's a dog hair in my eye, but I'll get it after this. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. I mean, this doesn't feel like their energy towards you. They're keeping you from a new beginning. Their energy is keeping you from a new beginning. Yeah, they're keeping you attached to the past. I had someone comment on one of my videos. I don't think it was a Sagittarius reading, but it was someone who said it took them a super long time, like something like 40 years to walk away from the person that they believed was like their twin flame. And in the comment he mentioned, he was like, but I've been watching these readings for years that have been telling me that this person is having some sort of a spiritual ascension and, they're healing and they're finally seeing my worth. And he basically in the comment was like, but it never happens. And that's exactly what keeps you trapped on the connection. So be very careful, because remember that tarot is a tool. It is not a guide. And so the messages that are being received and portrayed might not always be from the right sources. So just a little message there. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. So this person's keeping you from a new beginning. Because here's the thing, you're still in the middle of a karmic cycle. But the universe wants you to really close this out. Like seriously close this out. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. Sun in reverse is the energy of ego. their ego is what contributes to your Nine of Swords, because I feel like, they have a tendency to try to protect themselves, to try to say or do things that make them, to show you what they want you to see, not how they really feel. And I feel like that really plays into your fears, doubts, and insecurities. Like, I don't feel like this person has the emotional wherewithal to be able to fully love and accept themselves, first of all. Therefore, if they don't have that ability to love and accept themselves, or they haven't yet, then they don't have the ability to love and accept you the way that you're deserving of. So your fears, doubts, and the way that this person makes you feel insecure is because of their own insecurities. It has very little to do with you. Now, the way that it's reflecting your insecurities is intentional, and the reason that this connection has found you is because, again, working through these fears, doubts, and insecurities is what is necessary to get you to the healing, the level of healing that you're ultimately wanting to be at. Okay, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. Yeah, see, they're not being honest. Seven of Swords, I mean. They're holding back, which I saw with the Veiled card. And I feel like you're waiting for them to not hold back or something. Let me get more on the Seven of Swords. It's like they're not being honest about how they really feel. Clarifying the Seven of Swords for Sagittarius or the person Sagittarius is dealing with. And that's where you need your perspective shift. You do not need this person to see that they have hurt you in order to heal. You do not need this person to apologize in order to heal. You do not need this person to love you in order to feel loved. You do not need this person to appreciate you in order to feel valued. You do not need their validation. Okay? And that was like the most freeing. Whenever I was dealing with that connection that I keep talking about, the most freeing part of it that I got to is where I did not care about what that person thought about me. I did not care about what he thought about me anymore. I got to a point where I was like, I am so happy with where my life is currently at, with who I am, with my purpose in this life, with the way that I'm living my life, and the way that I have, the things that I have, my relationships, my friendships, that I did not care anymore about what that person thought about me, whether they thought about me at all, whether they loved me, whether they didn't love me. I didn't care anymore. And that freedom was better than anything that I ever thought I wanted, because it was not just it wasn't just freeing myself from them. It was freeing myself from every single person that had ever tried to make me feel undervalued, underappreciated, or unloved. So keep that in mind. This person's purpose in your life is a lot deeper than you realize. This person's energy for Sagittarius. Ooh. There's the Emperor in reverse. Okay. So you both kind of have a tendency to control, because they have a tendency to control by keeping people that they feel things for at a distance, right? That's the emotional unavailability talking. They have this connection brings up a ton of fear for them. And that fear is what is ultimately keeping them making decisions that don't serve them in a way. And maybe you know that. Maybe that's where the whole thing is, where you're like, man, this person and I have so much potential if they would just heal, if they would just love themselves, if they would just show up for me, or whatever the case is. But their potential is not yours to chase. It is theirs to become. And they will only become their potential if they decide that that's what is best for them. And you are not going to be the person to show them that, because that's not how people learn that they need to change. They learn that they need to change when they have to. That's hard. That's a hard lesson to learn. This person's very stubborn too. I feel like that's why, is it's like they're very like determined to keep you at a distance. And so they hold back. They're not honest. They're not truthful. I don't necessarily feel like they're deceptive. They could be, but that's not really what's coming through. It's not really a deceptive energy. It's more just, I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to hold back how I feel. And if like these two energies separated, then they're just going to move on and pretend like everything's fine, which leaves you with nothing but your fears, doubts, and insecurities to work through. So yeah. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. There it is. Staying in communication with this person continues to, because here's that Wheel of Fortune in reverse, continues to keep you in this cycle, because I feel like they have a tendency in some way, shape, or form to leave you hanging on. And that keeps you in this pain, this Three of Swords, because they don't want to deal with their Three of Swords, right? They don't want to deal with the pain that they feel in this connection. So they keep you hanging on so that they know that you're always there, so they don't have to face this. And then instead, you get the burden of this. That's kind of like how they put their burden on you, because then you feel this Three of Swords, because they don't have to feel it because they're keeping you hanging on, but then they put that Three of Swords on you. So energies really do shift back and forth like that between people. And so the second that you say, I'm going to heal my pain of this, and your pain is going to be your responsibility, that's really going to be, because this person doesn't know how to take accountability. They might like know they messed up, or know that they hurt you, or know that you're hurting or something like that, but it's like they don't know how to, it's like they don't know how to be like, how to like do something about it. Like, it's like, yeah, I hurt Sagittarius, but like, that's life, instead of being like, yeah, I hurt Sagittarius and I need to freaking do something about it. I need to fix myself so I don't do this to other people, right? Now, hurt people. So they have hurt from their past, which causes them to, run from situations and hurt other people and things like that. And that is just not your responsibility. That is not your burden to bear. Their past trauma and the way that has affected you is not your responsibility to bear. You have to heal the way that has affected you, but you don't have to continue to keep yourself stuck in that cycle. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. It's a long reading. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. Could be dealing with the King of Pentacles, but we've also seen other things. I don't know why I'm calling that out now. Actually, I don't even know if we have. Could be dealing with an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. You don't have to be by any means. I just call them out as I see them, or try to. Okay. They're more focused on building up their material world. So that could be like, they're more worried about like outwardly appearances than they are like their emotional world. And I feel like, I mean, that's the ego talking, right? Because when someone has a tendency to lead with ego, it's not because they love themselves so much, like, right? Like, you think like the narcissist, or like the people who are typically a little bit more egotistical. Like, I'm not saying this person's a narcissist. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. But when you're dealing with people like that, the belief is, oh, they're so full of themselves, they love themselves so much, when in reality, it's absence of self. It's their inability to actually know who they are So they need to build up their ego in certain ways because that is their identity. And that becomes their only focus, is how to make them look good. Because if they don't look good, they don't feel good about themselves, because they don't know who they actually are. Therefore, they don't love who they actually are, which you can also look at that as a reflection of you. If you feel like this person doesn't see your value, of course they don't. They don't have any idea that they have value themselves, and they're going to see the world through that lens, because we are all projectors and we project our, lack of self-worth onto everybody. Not all the time, but that's when we're not yet kind of awake and aware and working on ourselves, and that's typically how it happens. And so, yeah, of course this person doesn't see your worth. They don't see their own worth. That's why, like, in all of my readings, when I feel this kind of energy, I say it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to look at the truth of this connection. Remember, kind of looking at, like, what is the purpose of this, and what is the best way to move forward in order to align with your higher self further. You have protection in the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, so protecting from some sort of karmic cycle. Pulling 9 different messages for that, and then I have advice card to pull at the end. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Sagittarius.